Hey everyone, it's Mr. Doctor. Thanks for joining me for another art project today. And today we'll be creating this awesome sculpture. I like to call it the Ants Playground. A couple reminders that a sculpture is three-dimensional art, which means that it is not flat, it is popping out, it is round, and it has many different sides, like a front to our sculpture, a left, the back, and finally, the right, and the top. For our sculpture today, we'll be needing glue. I'm going to be using crayons and some markers. And we'll need scissors. And I also have these edgers, which will be great for the project. And then we'll need construction paper. I dug through and I attempted to find my brightest construction paper. This project should be fun, bright, and loud. And then also just some blank white paper. Now I'll give you a moment. Go ahead and pause the video if you need to gather your supplies. If you're ready, let's talk about the base. For our base of our sculpture, we need something strong. And I like to use a plain color so the rest of the sculpture will stand out and be our focal point. So you can use a white piece of paper or black would look really good, make those things pop out, or a piece of cardboard. You want something strong. This black paper is what I'm going to use for my sculpture, for my base. After you picked your base, go ahead and start working on the strips of paper. What we're going to do, I'm going to use some white paper, especially if you don't have construction paper. You can do this whole project with adding color to your white paper, to your white strips. I do have some construction paper, but I'm going to also do the crayon part of this project, doing a texture rub. For this part, I like to pick at least two colors, take the crayon, and just scribble. Scribble crazily. And you don't want to use the point. You want to lay it down and rub it, doing a texture rub. If you need to, go ahead and take the paper off of your crayons. I'm doing a dark green and this green yellow. I think those colors are going to look real good together. The first color, I left a lot of white spots. My second color that I add is going to fill in those white spots. So we see both colors. Now, super important for this white paper is that we do both sides, the front and the back. So when our sculpture, when we're looking at it, we can see both sides are our strips of paper. There's my dark color, and then my second color filling in those white areas that was left behind. A challenge for you to go around your house and to find a texture that you could do this to. Maybe a brick wall, a sidewalk, a carpet, and then you'll get different textures for your sculpture. So here's one. And then I made two earlier. I made this one. Again, I did both sides. And here's another one I made. I really like this one. Again, using two colors, a pink and a yellow. So that is how you do the crayon texture rub. Here is another way you can add some color, is getting some markers. Now, I personally like this one. It's fun. I call it just scribbling on here. Take a color. And we don't want to fill the section. That would just take too long. I just want you to think of some of the lines we know. That's just a wavy line. I'm going to add a big zigzag going through here. Straight line. I got one more color. Lots of colors for the marker one. There it is. Oh, and remember, gotta do the back. Doing a wavy. Do a broken line through here. Making an X. I want to do one more. I want to show you is this one I created earlier. Same idea. I used 3 colors, green, orange, and blue, and I did both sides of my white paper. So I got my strips ready. I did the markers, I did the crayons, and I also have construction paper. Now you can go ahead and start creating those strips, and our strips should be longer than our hands. I'm going to cut this way, going vertical, and these will be longer than my hand. Am I doing this? Go ahead, just start cutting. And I'm going to work on cutting a bunch of these, so when I build my sculpture, I'll have a little pile to choose from. Do some of that. I like this bright orange. If you are lucky enough to have some of these edgers, they are wonderful. Go ahead and use them. I'm going to go ahead and cut 3 more. I'm going to show you this one. One side has an edge to it, a bumpy edge, and the other side has a smooth edge. You can keep it like that, or if it bothers you, you can cut the smooth side off. And I want both sides to be bumpy, so I'm cutting that off. There we go. We can maybe use this in our sculpture too. I'm going to put that off to the side. All right, I need 2 more. And when you're doing this, I encourage you to make lots of little strips. Cut up all your pieces, cut up all of your crayon and marker ones. And this will be my last one to be a bonus one. Let me get 2 out of here. Ooh, I'm actually noticing I did not do any of this pink, this bright, loud pink paper. So I want one of these. All right, friends, I used the crayon texture rub, the marker scribble, and some of my construction paper. Just a reminder, if you don't have construction paper, you can still do this project with white paper, doing the marker scribble and the crayons. All right, so now I have all my strips ready. I have my base. I picked black, thick, strong paper. And now I'm going to start to bend, curl, and fold these little pieces to make my sculpture start to pop out. Let me show you some ways you can do that. You can make the mountain one. Take a piece, put it together. I got the bubble on top. I'm going to smush that bubble, making a crease on top, smash it good. Now I got this mountain. Now the hard part is making it stay up forever. On the bottom, I need to make these feet. We'll fold it back, make that crease. Got a little foot, and then I need another foot. Just like that. And I'm going to start using my glue, and on the bottom of these feet, add one little dot, and stick it down. And if you remember from our art class, we need to hold our glue for 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, I'm going to do a couple more. So we did the pointy mountain one. Here's another way you can do it. It's kind of the same way, but it's going to be curved instead of pointy. Just like that. I'm going to bend 1 foot. On the other side, I'm going to bend the other foot. And then I'm going to add my dot of glue. Remember, 1 dot will do ya on each foot. All right, I got my 2 dots. I'm going to bend it like this so it makes an arch or a curve. If you want a challenge, go ahead and count to 10 in Spanish. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Perfect. And that counting to 10 should hold it in place. Let me show you some different ones we can do. Take a marker, and then you can wrap it around the marker or pencil or crayon, whatever you got. Wrap it tight. When you get to the end, make a foot. With the foot, you need your dotted glue. Take the marker crayon pencil out. Stick it on your sculpture somewhere, and you have a little pearl. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I like to kind of uncurl it sometimes. That's kind of fun. Look at that. That's great. Some other ones you can do. I love this one. It's the stairs or the accordion fold. You go up, under, up, under, up, under. Now, if I let go of this, you can tell that it's going to come undone. I didn't push and bend the crease hard enough, so I want to push that down real hard with all my art muscles, making it flat so it stays that stair shape. Now for the glue. Do it to the first stair, and then flip it upside down, and then do the last stair. These ones are great to go from a tower you built already to the ground. So I'm going to go from my arch to the ground, making a stair, a pathway to it. And again, I am pushing real hard on my glue, and I am counting to 10 to make sure it stays. All right, I'm gonna do one more. Just a little space here I can add, and I'm gonna do, I haven't done my marker one yet. There it is. This one I'm gonna do a little differently. I'm gonna go up, up, up. I'm basically making a giant zigzag. I'm gonna make a foot right there. There's one foot, and then another foot. Two dots of glue. And this one is the zigzag line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And here is my sculpture so far. It looks like this one needs a little bit more glue. There we go. Here's my sculpture so far. Remember, it is a 3-dimensional artwork, which means it should be popping out from all sides. You can look at it from every single side. I have more strips of paper, so I'm going to work on adding more. But for right now, that's all I'm going to show you. Thanks for hanging out with me and seeing how we make a 3-dimensional sculpture. Thanks, friends.